Welcome to the Mike and Doug Show. From Aim for Truth and Americans for Innovation, we are bringing you an alert. The researchers over at Americans for Innovation dug down deep in the mines until they popped out in China and basically found that there's a tunnel straight from China to Silicon Valley. So Betsy told us we need to work on Zoom because she was certain that there is something very suspicious and awful about it. We now have that proof for you. And it's basically going to be patting ourselves on the back and saying that we told you so. But get ready, we did tell you so. So, Mike, what have you found out about this little squirmy dude who founded Zoom under false pretenses? And how fake was it? Were you able to see through it in a few seconds, or did it take you a minute or two?
Oh, my gosh. It took about 2 seconds. Eric S. Yuan. Y-U-A-N owns 22% of Zoom. He's the cardboard cutout. This is the guy that's running the product that the entire world is now using to collect data on all of us, and it's all going straight to China. That's what we've learned.
I'm sitting here watching all these Zoom meetings happening with families, and then I'm seeing that businesses are doing their meetings on Zoom. And then I was in a court proceeding where they told us at the last minute that it wouldn't be done in the courtroom, it'd be done on Zoom. So the judge, the plaintiff, the defendant, everybody's on Zoom. This is really bothersome. And then we find out that the school districts here in Michigan, most of them are putting the classrooms on Zoom. There are government meetings being held on Zoom. And I'm looking at Zoom, knowing what we do about the theft of social media, Highlands Forum Group, the Pilgrim Society, Surveillance China, Huawei, TikTok. And I'm saying, Michael, you got to get the minors onto Zoom. Where you're going, we may lose some people, but I want people to hang on, because what's happening here is China is now able to surveil Americans in their homes, their schools, their offices, and their government meetings. And this is unacceptable. And I want President Trump to treat Zoom the way he treats TikTok and Huawei. Now, I'll bubble down. Let's hear why this is so important.
It is 100%, 110% clear that these guys are stealing our invention. And we had specifically built within the social networking software an application we called Leader Meeting, and also one that called Leader Phone. And between those two patent applications, and at the time they were stolen, trade secrets, we see exactly what they're doing, and they have not changed an iota of the technology that we'd invented to do this. And let me just give you one example. In 2005, on August 5th, I believe the date was, we got a call from the governor's office in the state of Louisiana. The entire phone network and all collaborative capabilities in Louisiana had dropped. And they had no way of managing their coordination across all the agencies within the state of Louisiana and with the federal agencies, including the Corps of Engineers, Red Cross, U.S. Army. They all came onto our platform and used our technology that we'd invented, that is what is behind what we now know as Zoom. So while we were there saving lives, these people were out there ripping off our technology and our know-how and taking it to China. There is no question that this Zoom company is headquartered in China with a subsidiary office in Silicon Valley. And then they propped this Eric S. Yuan in front of it and have given him mountains of money from various venture capitalists, including Sequoia Capital, which is obviously linked to the CIA. So what we're seeing here is a technology, another part of our social networking invention that specifically dealt with the engineering problem of combining voice, video, and data into a single integrated approach. And so what we've seen is all these cardboard cutouts with products called GoToMeeting and WebEx and all of these approaches on how to do that. But they had a basic technology problem that we solved and actually implemented, and that's what we call Leader Phone. Cisco, who this Eric S. Wan worked for uses a product now they call Cisco Phone. But we had a product for years called Leader Phone, which is what we're talking about here, and it's how to combine voice, video, and data signals into a single collaborative platform. And that's all Zoom is. And so now, after Betsy's pestering, we put some people on digging up information on Zoom, and there's absolutely no question. It's in the public record. And in fact, I'll just give you a summary. They say right now that over 500 of their engineers are working in China.
IBM Eclipse Foundation stole Leader Technologies' patents and their trade secrets, and they continued to give it to cardboard
Right.
cutouts who were Silicon Valley whiz boys who were supported by Highlands Forum and the same venture capitalists that you just mentioned, Sequoia and the others. And then it was an In-Q-Tel product. There is an IBM Eclipse Foundation 2.0. It's in China, and it's called the Open Power Foundation. And it was founded by IBM and Google and all the rest of the usual suspects in China. And so Eric Yuan, Chinese spy, who had no experience whatsoever, tells his really, really pathetic story of how one day he got inspired by Bill Gates, and that's it. He came to Silicon Valley and he conquered the rest of the world.
We have read that it took him 7 attempts to get a visa. But I want to know, is he a naturalized U.S. citizen, or do we have a Chinese national around here pushing this garbage out on Americans where we're being surveilled by Xi Jinping?
Our researchers could find no records of any kind of naturalization for him. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but we can't find it, and that's normally public information.
Yeah, but he came to America and he magically got a job at Cisco,
Right.
which you basically have to be working for the NSA to work for Cisco. But this guy comes, he goes to Cisco. I guess he just saw that all the effort of everyone who'd ever been there was nothing, because he was just going to take it and advance it without any training, without any experience, and magically get money, lots of money from China, so that he could do what? Probably just buy up other companies and simply take what is called the Chinese Open Power Foundation material. You can't do business with China if you do not agree to participate in Open Power Foundation, which means you have to use their software, which can get into all of your software. Anyone who has a contract with China, it's not, in any sense of the word, a capitalist type contract. It is nothing more than pure communism with them having ultimate control. Open Power Foundation is that. IBM, Google, everybody bought into that.
When Silicon Valley had really gotten good hold of our social networking invention, they created all these cardboard cutouts with different brand names to implement this technology to make it look like it was competitive. But behind the scenes, the CIA had used the IBM Eclipse Foundation to make sure that all of these players were all building their applications on top of a common core, which was hidden from most of the developers. So that was the way you could hire people in the US, which were probably just average Joes, and they would write to this application layer, and then you've got this spy layer that's below it. They knew that a lot of their activity at the spy layer was illegal. And so what they did is they didn't hire American programmers to do that layer. They sent that off to China. They would get financing from the US, and then they would hire these Chinese programmers to do all the illegal work. They first layered it into the IBM Eclipse Foundation layer, and then when it got so bad from a legality viewpoint, they just created this Eclipse 2.0 in China for them to do the really nefarious layer. And that's why China was the go-to engineering group to do a lot of this work. And at some point, this activity got out of hand, and they started needing to move these companies to China. And that's when you see the big sellout by the Clintons and the Highlands Group and by Silicon Valley venture capitalists to go to China, because they couldn't hide this activity as long as they were in the US.
Remember what the Chinese and the Russians have already said: we will take over your country without ever firing a single shot.
Right.
There's no such thing as cooperating with the Chinese government. They only know one way to do things.
We have a pesky thing here in this country called the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, which was getting in their way. And so what they decided is they would use the Silicon Valley story as the front end of this, but the real back end dirty work, the immoral part of this technology, would be handled in China. So the Chinese are dupes. They've been duped by the Pilgrim Society, the IBM Eclipse Foundation, and people like Kissinger and the various people that have taken over our financing worldwide. The story here is the Pilgrims are running this. They're using China as a convenient whipping boy right now, but they are attempting to implement communism in the US through controlling all of our communications.
So you have a virus that's supposed to have been released from the Wuhan district out of China that's affected the whole world just in time for a Chinese product called Zoom to conveniently attach itself into all of our homes, offices, and schools. So we are imprisoned in our homes with Chinese surveillance. And don't tell me it's not all related, because this coronavirus thing, it tracks itself right back to Pirbright and the patent there. So all of this is a Pilgrim Society operation to control humanity.
Right.